that maybe I just took for granted before being able to do that. Like having that time to go and have a dedicated hour to work out outside of the house. Man, did I take that for granted. Feeling put together, like feel like I love to be very put together. It's having to learn to do my own nails and now having to do them like every other day is the most daunting.
I didn't realize that you had to do it so often. I didn't know that was
I didn't either because
you've never done it before.
I had never done it. Welcome back to The Broke Billionaires, where we document our daily struggles in building wealth while raising a young family. Join us as we talk creative wealth building for everyday people and couples that are struggling in a down economy. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Joshua Masari, and we'll be your hosts.
Welcome back.
Back again.
Here we are.
Yes.
Cozy as can be.
So cozy.
It's getting really uncomfortable sitting through these. So we'll see how long we make this before this baby comes.
All right. I'm comfy. I feel great.
It's nice. I'm glad you're comfy. Good for you.
Sorry.
It's okay. I'd say it's not your fault, but it's kind of your fault. So
because it's half my fault.
It's half your fault.
Maybe more than half.
Definitely more than half. What are we talking about tonight?
Well, let's start with some updates. Things still suck for us.
Yep.
We made it to 2025, but I've heard a revamped or modified motto of the year is no longer survive till 25. That was the motto of 2024, survive till 25. Now, what I'm hearing there is survive 25. So now you got to make it another year.
I don't know why I thought the second we hit 2025 would be different or easier or better.
Just because
I think we just had that mentality, like just get there.
2024 was just so crappy. We're like, we just thought it couldn't get worse.
Yeah.
But I will say there is light at the end of the tunnel, and things have like things haven't gotten better because it's like everything got so bad, at least for us. And even though things might be getting better externally or overall, there's a lag because of where we've got, where we are, and just it's going to take a while to climb out of the hole that we've dug ourselves into in terms of just being stuck with everything and trying to get this house finished up, this last project, and running out of money and just everything.
Yeah.
All the things. Business has picked up. It has picked up, but it's in the same situation. It's just been so slow for so long that it's in the hole as well. So even though it's picking up, it doesn't necessarily mean it's spinning off profit. There's, it's still got to ramp up and climb out of the hole that it's in before it starts spinning off profit again. So that's fun.
So you're still basically working for free.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
Yeah. And things are getting busier, and I've taken on a lot more responsibility in the last 2 years while things were slower. So I was able to start doing more, real estate investing and obviously these midterm rentals that we've started doing. And so I've taken a lot more on and been able to manage it because it was slow.
Mm-hmm.
But as things get busier, it's, I'm going into the office. Like I was at the office. I got up at 4:30 this morning to go to the office.
Yeah.
So I could get there for a few hours and do some fulfillment and kind of the manual stuff that is really hard for me to do during the day. And, I do a lot of fulfillment for clients. They do like gift boxes and stuff for new hires and for awards or like milestone awards for employees that have been there for a certain amount of years. And it takes a lot of time. We'll have like 50 to 100 of those at a time sometimes. And it's hard for me to do that during the day. I used to have somebody that would do that, full time, that was just doing all the fulfillment, but it's still stop and go, and there's not a consistent, steady stream of that to where I can bring somebody back on to start doing that. So I'm going in at 4:30 in the morning to knock that out before I come home at 7 to get the kids out of bed and get them fed and out the door, and then I go back to work.
Yep.
So, but I do see that if things ramp up, like I'm going to be in trouble. So I need to start figuring out my time and figuring out where I'm best suited to be spending my time, and try to get help where it's needed as things pick back up. Because if things get busy again, like they were a couple of years ago, I'm not going to be able to do that. Plus all the other things that are now on my plate.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know how you're doing it right now, actually, but.
And bringing another kid into the world. And so about to not sleep for a few months, that's going to make it even more fun.
We're coming into a fun season. What did we say earlier? April's kind of do or die for us.
Do or die. April is a make it or break it month for us. We
not
are
an April Fool's either on that.
Not joking. We are tapped out on everything. We, had tried to do pull some equity out of one of the properties to get, our project, the current project finished, and the roof that we need to put on one of the other rental properties, and to just get us through in general for the next few months until everything's rented and stabilized. And that fell through, so that really put us up against the wall. And so we just have, because we have no income right now other than the rental properties, and the rental properties don't cover everything. It's just been tough. I don't know.
That would be an understatement.
So
yes.
April's make it or break it. We got to figure this out before the baby comes in May. And so we really have got to kind of go all in. And that's kind of, I think, where we're at. We're kind of up against the wall, and we got to go all in and make it, or we don't. So.
And you'll all be along for the ride.
Yeah.
You'll all be here to
So
see
you'll be
what
right
happens.
along as we either crash and burn, or we figure it out and we make it, and things start to climb back up, and we start to get back to that point of success, and aren't drowning. So yeah, check back with us in May to make sure that we're still okay.
Hope and pray that we will be.
Yeah, and we've been praying a lot lately.
We always pray, but
we've been praying a little harder.
A little harder. Yeah. A little more frequently these days, that's for sure.
But we're going to make it. We're going to make
Yes,
it. I'm going to keep saying that until we don't. But we're going to make it. It's going to be fine. We're going to figure out a way. We're going to get the project finished up and get it rented and get that off our backs and move on to the next project. And we're going to be okay.
I think that in all seriousness, if we didn't have our faith as this foundation, I don't know how we would be handling this.
Yeah.
Because I do get asked that a lot of how are you not just completely falling apart in all seriousness? And I really think that's a big testament to our faith in the foundation.
I agree. I think the fact that we have that faith-based foundation in our marriage and kind of puts us on the same path and gives us a rock to both lean on. I think that's a big part of it, because with what we're facing, I think there are maybe couples that wouldn't be able to cope with this in terms of their marriage. Like our marriage hasn't faltered at all. I feel like it's gotten stronger going through this. And, you look at marriages that don't make it, and the number one cause of that is finances. It's always comes down to finances. And this is a finance situation that should be causing all kinds of problems, or, we're with what we're facing, like this is a bad situation, just being completely cash broke. But I don't feel like it's affected you and I at all.
No, I think if anything, it's just, like you said, made us stronger, made us had to lean on each other more and know at the end of the day that we're both doing everything we can. It's not us against each other. It's us just really coming together to make this work.
If it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. I had a track coach that Coach Plotz used to always say, if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger.
There's also a Kelly Clarkson song to that.
I'm sure somebody else said it originally, but my coach is the first one that I heard say it. But yeah, I mean, we haven't died yet, so just keep getting stronger. But I mean, I feel like going through this, I don't know how we're not freaking out, like facing possible, like
I'm freaking out.
you're
I
starting
have
to
my
break down a little more
moment.
than, but I'm just saying, like, I feel
Sure.
like I should be freaking out. Like,
Yeah, I don't know how you're not.
well, like how are we still making, I don't know, we just keep somehow making a mortgage payment, somehow, liquidating something to get the mortgage paid because there's no income to pay it, and keeping all the mortgages paid and just staying in these homes. Because I really truly believe we make through this, there is going to be another market appreciation cycle, and owning 3 homes in this high appreciating market, we are really going to ride that wave. And so I really, we could pull the chute, we could pull the ripcord and just say, screw it, let's just sell a property, make things easier, and just get caught up, get out of the hole, and be a little less stressful. But I just feel like, and we may have to do that. Maybe we don't.
Yeah,
I don't
we
know.
may.
But I feel like if we do that, we are going to regret it, in a few years, and there's another appreciation cycle, and we're going to really wish that we would have held on. So
I think too, with just everything and this kind of goes along with what we're talking about today, but just everything that we have put into this, and like personally, the time.
Yeah, I feel
it
like
would really suck.
the 3 properties we have in Costa Mesa are a little more, they hit home a little more because there's so much blood, sweat, and tears that went into them. They're not just like the out-of-state properties that we never see, never touch, never do much with.
That's different.
It's not something that we bought with the intention of flipping. We these properties, we put a lot of work into them, and we push a lot of appreciation just with the renovations that we've done. But it was a lot of time, to be able to do the renovations that we were able to do on the budget we did. There was a lot of self-manual labor that had to go into these. So a little more invested in these properties. And the other thing is too, we rebuilt these properties with the, being a rental in mind, and especially the midterm rentals. For example, we have 2 properties that have really high-end, high-efficiency HVAC systems with multiple zones and everything. And these are very expensive systems.
Mm-hmm.
If we were flipping these homes, we would have spent way less. I mean, these systems are almost $30,000, but they're very efficient to run. And when in the summertime, when we're running the AC full blast on these large houses, the AC bill's like $300. The other property that doesn't have a high efficient system is half the size of these properties, and when it's running full blast, it's more than double to run that AC in a smaller home. So that's how much more efficient these systems are. And we spent the money up front on these efficient systems, knowing we were going to be covering utilities and having these furnished rentals, and making it up on the long run by lower utility bills, because with the furnished rentals, we cover the utilities. So our operating costs are much lower. So to turn around and sell it would just be kind of a waste, because we could have got a $15,000 system instead of a $30,000 system, and on a flip, it doesn't make, I don't think it really makes much of a difference. Nobody really cares about that.
And I think too, like, we design these in mind that if we ever have to live in them, that they work for our family, right? We're designing them to we want to be living in, and which goes along with your point of, we wouldn't be doing things as hopefully meticulously. We wouldn't be putting as much thought and time into them if we were just trying to quickly flip it and make a quick profit.
No, that's absolutely
There's
true.
a lot more.
Yeah. And we've always said, like,
also that goes into this.
And we do that because we want it to be a product that we're proud of and that we would be willing to live in, because we're expecting people to pay a lot of money to live in these. So that's one reason, is just the quality aspect and just the high expectation we have. But we also are like, okay, well, if we ever have to move into one of these properties long term and get stuck in it, we want to live in it and make sure it's something that we want.
And
we want to be comfortable. Yeah. So when we're redoing the showers and everything, we raise up the shower heads as high as they go. So we're taller people, but we want the shower heads up high. So I don't like where it comes out and hits me in the chest. Where the actual shower head is, I gotta like bend down to like wash my hair. I mean, I'm 6'4", so I'm taller than the average person, I guess. But some of these older homes, that's how they're built. So we're raising those up when we're rebuilding these and raising up ceilings whenever we can.
Ceilings, doorways when we can.
And
Yeah, all of that.
yeah. And
Make
so,
it
and even
look the best.
like simple, stupid things that, we wouldn't necessarily need to worry about if it was a flip or something, but like the sliders, like we recess the sliding doors down so that they're level with the floor on the inside. And a lot of times, if you don't do that, you have this big lip. It's like 2 or 2.5 inches tall, and you trip on it, and it just looks bad. And we purposely take the extra time to make one. We make them taller, so we actually raise headers up and make the doors taller. But we also recess them down into the floor so that they just look more flush, and they're just the quality is there. So for us, we would appreciate that, and we would want that in a home that we're living in, but these things cost more money, they take more time. And so we do a lot of things with the intention of keeping these properties long-term. So the intent is not to sell, it is to keep it long-term.
Right.
Hopefully that's what works out.
We'll just keep praying some more for that.
Yeah.
But that's what works out for sure.
Just a quick disclaimer. The information shared on this podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered as financial, tax, or legal advice. Always consult with a qualified professional before making any financial decisions. Your individual circumstances may differ and require specific strategies not discussed here. Now, let's get back to the show.
Well, that kind of leads us into what we're going to talk about tonight, sacrifices and side hustles. Two things that we know very well.
Lots of sacrifices these days.
I feel like we're going to have to cut the list short because there's just too many to get to all of them with what we've had to do, but I don't know. What are the first sacrifices that come to top of your mind when we're thinking about how we go about this and how we're doing this? Because that's what we get told all the time. It's like, we're crazy.
Well, we probably are. I wouldn't disagree with that. So
yeah, at this point, I think we're just nuts, but
yeah. I think the big one, first and foremost, is just, finances. All these projects that we've done, properties that we redo, they're all self-funded. Even the current project we're finishing up, we did get a construction loan on that, but we don't have investors on that. We don't have, it's still self-funded. We are responsible for that loan. We make the payments on that. It's still, and it didn't cover all of it. We still put six figures of cash into the property. In renovations on top of the down payment. So we still have a lot of money invested. We have about $250,000 invested into that current project of cash that was ours. Now, it wasn't all cash. Some of it was cash. Some of it was cash that we withdrew on a HELOC. But we're still, even on the HELOC, we're still making payments on that. So it's really self-funded. Mm-hmm. But I think just making ourselves uncomfortable to be able to acquire these properties and do what we do to them and put the amount of money that we put into them. We could, if we were just flipping, we could have got a hard money loan and just, got through this, had everything paid for, paid the carrying cost, but just got it done, boom, knocked it out and turned around and sold it and then cash out and everything gets paid off. We've done it differently. Not a lot of people do this type of renovation on properties and then turn them into rentals. People tend to do like the bare minimum and they don't rebuild a house. Our name of our company is Rebuilding the Dream because we're rebuilding dream homes. We take them down and we rebuild them. This is essentially, this current project's a brand new house. It's a 2024 build. And, we plan on keeping this for a long time and, we won't have problems with it because it's a brand new house. So, taking the time to do that obviously pays off in the long run and forces appreciation. But, we are putting a lot of our own money into these properties and a lot of our own time and effort. And, the financial part and there's sacrifices elsewhere. We're not able to do things that we used to do. Right now there's a lot of sacrifices because we don't have an income either. So we put all this money into the property and don't have an income. And it's just really everything hit bad timing at the same time. So that's why
when they say it rains, it pours.
When it rains, it pours.
It floods.
We lost our income. And when I say lost income, the business is just, we're not pulling money out of the business because we want the business to survive. So all the money is going back into the business right now to make sure that survives and gets through the rough economic times. And we're just scraping pennies together to get by with everything to make sure we can finish. I mean, we're so close to finishing this. So that takes me to my next point is time. Obviously, time. I do a lot of work, whether we have contractors doing work and I'm managing them or I'm doing the physical labor. There's kind of both that I do. There's a lot I do a lot of the carpentry work because the carpentry work is expensive and I'm able to do that and save money there. But even just managing the contractors on the other work that's being done is still full time. Like when you're doing, a complete rebuild, there's, I got 3-4 contractors at the property at once, and they all have questions, and I got to make sure it gets put together properly. So it was still a lot of work.
Well, and like we kind of mentioned in last week's episode too, is you're so meticulous and you know how things are supposed to be done that I think a lot of people would just hire a contractor and let it be.
Yeah.
But that's not you, thankfully. And you watch over them and you have corrections and you step in when you need to and have them redo things when they need to. And
yeah, and I think a lot of times, a lot of contractors cut corners. Not all of them, but there are corners that get cut that you don't see because they're inside walls and things like that. I see the inside of the walls, and I know it's not supposed to be that way. And so I'm making sure. And I hate when subs say, "Oh, it passed inspection," or "It'll pass inspection." Like, I don't care if it passes inspection. It's not done right. You're redoing this, or you're doing it my way. I'm paying you to do it my way, not your way. I hate when they say that. It passed inspection. Like, no.
This is why sometimes contractors don't work with us again. But the good ones know us and respect us, and they know now.
The ones that know how we operate, like, take our business because they know that so the one thing is, I will say we always pay our contractors. Always.
Well,
Maybe a long time. We've only gotten stuck once. So we haven't been able to pay somebody, and that was when we got stuck with the window that we talked about. This window was 8 months delayed and came 8 months later, so all the funding had dried up, and we actually I just made the final payment yesterday or Monday. We were scraping together on that one, and I really appreciate.
We're really scraping here.
Yeah, Shout out to the window installation company because they were really understanding. I actually told them that they could come and do a video because they've been doing a lot of video ads on social media. So I told them once we're done, if they want to come shoot a video, we could open up the house for that.
Absolutely.
Because they didn't charge us any interest or anything. So
that was really nice of them.
Yeah, that was cool. So we ended up making installment payments on that one.
And this just goes back to my point too, that the situation we're in with being so cash broke is so uncomfortable and it's so vulnerable to talk about and uncomfortable to talk about. But when you do, people are willing to work with you. We have found more times than not. And maybe it's just kind of the climate and the season that we're in, that there's like a lot more people going through this too. So they're being understanding. I don't know.
But we're upfront about it.
That.
We're upfront about it before they start the work. Or like, hey, this is a situation. Loan didn't go through, or it hasn't closed, or that money ran out. Whatever it is. But we've always paid our contractors, always, even the crappier ones that didn't do a good job. Or the ones I didn't pay though, I worked it out with them and be like, I'm not going to pay you because you screwed up and we had to redo everything. Let's walk the property. I'll show you what you did wrong. And they're like, okay, yeah, you're right. We screwed up.
Yeah.
I'm like, and then we come to an agreement and then we settle. But we've never and contractors know they're going to get paid. So there are a lot of contractors that don't get paid, whether they're subcontractors for another contractor and they run into money issues and they don't get paid. Every one of our contractors talk about not getting paid for jobs. So they know that when they do work for us, they get paid, and we don't take on contractors that we know we can't pay. Mm-hmm. So, at least not yet. We haven't run into that issue where we never paid somebody, but we have always paid our contractors. But going back to the sacrifice, we make a lot of personal sacrifices with these projects that we're doing because we're putting our personal money into it to keep these projects going and trying to get them across the finish line. The construction budget ran out. The construction loan money ran out a long time ago.
Yeah.
So we gotta keep it going and get it finished, get it across the finish line. There's things family wise, like, we had to let our Disneyland passes go. To be fair, they raised the price, and I think it was getting to the point where like it was just kind of
Ridiculous.
getting ridiculous. Yeah, you get less days now, and we're doubling the price again. But things like that, we may have kept that if money wasn't tight right now. Things.
There's been a lot of things we've had to cut, for sure.
Like what else? What have you had to cut? What's some things that's personally that's...
Oh my gosh.
I mean, there's lots, but...
This is all going to sound materialistic, but it's things that, I've done for so many years, and simple things like getting my nails done, getting a pedicure. Like those are things that were super important to me. I had done that every 2 weeks since I was 15 years old, like saved babysitting money so I could get my nails done when I was in high school. Just going to Pilates. Like that's been mentally probably the hardest one, especially being pregnant and having to now, I mean, yes, I'm home with the kids, but any other moms out there, especially that are home with their kids all the time, try to find that time to work out. And even if, it's like the times I wake up early, you see, like, it's like the kids have this internal alarm clock that they know if mom's awake, no matter how early I get up, they are awake within 10 minutes and wanting to come downstairs, and then I get nothing done. And it's like, it's hard, I have a very small window where, the two kids that are home are napping, and it's like any stay-at-home parent knows this. It's like, do I clean the house? Do I try to get some work done? Do I do a workout? I'm exhausted. Do I take a nap? Like, what do I do in this 1 hour window that I have? And it's been that part. I think I guess there's things that we've had to give up that maybe I just took for granted before being able to do that. Like having that time to go and have a dedicated hour to work out outside of the house. Man, did I take that for granted. Feeling put together. Like feel like I love to be very put together. It's having to learn to do my own nails and now having to do them like every other day is the most daunting.
I didn't realize that you had to do it so often. I didn't know that was
I didn't either because
you've never done it before.
I had never done it. So I also didn't realize, well, I'm also a psycho, and if I get one little chip, I need to redo all of them. So
it's probably good because I notice those things.
I know you do, and I know it's important to you, and it's.
But you're my wife now. It's fine. I don't judge you for it. But I remember like when I was dating, the first thing I would look for when I was like going out with a girl was her fingernails. Were they chipped or were they like put together? Like that was a sign if she was kept herself put together or not.
Yeah.
You always had nice fingernails.
It was always very important to me. I mean,
that was the first thing I noticed is I checked out your fingernails. I was like, oh, she's got good fingernails. She takes care of herself.
Now you may not think that, but I mean, like I haven't gotten my hair done in over a year, like things like that are just kind of normal female things that we've just not been able to do. And yes, it may sound materialistic, but those are things that I enjoy. I like taking care of myself, and those have been things that I think, especially in this era of postpartum last year, and then now being pregnant, it's like there's little things that you want to do to like feel your best, and when you can't do them, that gets tough. But
yeah, I mean, I can totally agree with you because I like working out. It's been well over a year now since I've been in my workout routine. It was before Isla was born. It was the day before she was born. The day before she was born was the last workout out. And then it was a couple months of just not sleeping, and I just couldn't make it. And then things started getting really hard, and ended up losing my membership that I had, the class pass. Ended up letting that go, and just it was just not a priority. One, the time, having 3 kids, and just taking a lot more work responsibility. I just have less time.
Yeah.
I was getting up at 4:30 to go to the gym, and now getting up at 4:30 is just so much harder when you've got kids waking up in the middle of the night because they wet the bed or they're sick or like. I mean, we get up. Kids come to our like at least twice a night. There's something. I feel like if we get a full night's rest, it's very rare. But getting less sleep and then trying to get up at 4:30. 3 times a week is tough, but I mean, I miss that. I miss that a lot. So yeah, I can definitely relate there. I don't know about the fingernail thing, but
vacations. I mean, that's something that's always been very important to us. We were always big on doing.
Yeah. We would do like 4 big trips a year was kind of our thing.
Yeah.
We do like a big Europe. Usually we did like Europe or some big trip.
I mean, that hasn't happened since we've had kids. But
yeah, so that's not all financial,
yeah.
but I mean, about the time we started having kids is kind of when things. No, I guess I wouldn't necessarily say that, but yeah, it's definitely the last
you've had to
2
give
years,
up your guys' trips. I've had to give up my girls' trips.
I do an annual snowboarding trip with a group of guys from college, and this is the first year I haven't that I've missed without having a good excuse, because usually
we're having a baby.
Usually we're having a baby, so there's twice that I didn't make it because of a baby, and it started out this way. I told everybody, I was like, hey, I'm a maybe because we found out we're pregnant. And it was like a little later, so I'm like, we'll probably be fine. But with the previous pregnancy, it was a really rough one. So it was kind of like up in the air. I didn't know. But then things just got so bad. I was like, okay, we're just going to scrap this and just not going to do this.
Yeah. I've given my girls' trips. I mean, we didn't do a baby moon this time. We haven't done a vacation. We can't go. We have some friends getting married, and that's an international trip that we're going to have to.
Yeah, and that's not necessarily a financial thing. It's, I mean, that plays into it, but you know, when we do trips, our flights and hotels a lot of times are covered with points and stuff, but we don't have anybody that can take the kids for that long of a period. I mean, we're gonna have 4 kids at that point, so we're going to have, and the couple we're talking about was actually our first guest on the podcast. Yeah. We don't have anybody that can, we can't leave we can't take the kids on a trip like this.
I mean, we could, but do we want to?
But then you can't, we'd have to have somebody go with us.
True.
So you'd have to pay somebody to travel with you to watch the kids, which that's not an option. And we don't have anybody that can just, take the kids for a week. Yeah. So it's not realistic for us. So
yeah,
it's a tough situation.
Yeah. So we've definitely given up vacations. We've given up going out to eat. Honestly,
yeah, we don't do that very often.
I miss Friday pizza nights. Hey guys, if you're finding value or just want to follow along on our journey, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. That would help us tremendously. You can also follow us on Instagram @TheBrokeMillionaires and be sure to share with your friends. Now let's get back to the show. I think that's what it comes down to, is the things that you really can just take for granted, like stopping here and there for a coffee, stopping to pick up lunch, just deciding you want to go out to dinner, or order in, or, things like that are just, you have to become, at least in the situation we're in, so much more mindful of all of that and how much it all goes into play. And you're really, really tracking where everything is going.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we've definitely had to tighten up on a lot of things and just get the bare necessities. And I mean, that's just what we're going through right now to keep afloat. And it is what it is. So, we're not mad about it. We're frustrated, and
some days are harder than others.
Some days are harder than others. And it's the situation, everything kind of came together at the same time to just create this storm for us. So, we don't have the income anymore. And luckily we do have rental properties that are operating, which have given us some cash flow. So they do spin off some cash flow to be able to spread out and help cover things, but it doesn't cover everything. It doesn't even cover the mortgages on the rental properties. So at least not yet. And, once we finish up this last project, we'll be in a position where everything will be actually cash flowing, but we're not there yet. So we're just trying to push through and get to that point. But that's a sacrifice that we have made, and that was a decision we made. And not many people in our area do what we do. I don't know if anybody does what we do.
I don't. I'm getting the feeling like we might be the. If you're going through the same thing, let us know. We'd love to chat.
We'd love to connect. And
I would love to know someone who is going through the exact situation, because I say this a lot, where you hear a lot of investors say they're broke. I don't know if we're the same kind of broke at the moment.
Yeah, we're broke. I don't know if there's a broke, but it's just, it's a cash, it's a cash broke thing. It's a cash flow issue.
Yeah.
We have all these mortgages and, our living expenses and, we just are, we have a lot more liabilities than we're bringing in right now. And that's just the way it is. But, it's again, sacrifices we're making, not drawing money from the business to make sure that the business can support itself and stay in business, because we know once things come back around, it does generate a decent income for us. And we did really well with that for a while. So, I don't want to just pull money on that and keep doing that until just to keep us afloat and then running that company to the ground and going BK, which a lot of business owners do that. And I won't do that because it's got so much potential, and it is still an operating business. The clients are all still there. They're not spending as much as they were because hiring freezes and spending freezes and whatnot, but that'll come back around. And then it'll pick back up and it'll start spending off profit again, like it was.
Yeah.
So we're, and then obviously once we finish the project that we're on and that starts cash flowing, that's gonna ease things up quite a bit for us as well too. So
yeah, that'll be big.
We'll get there. We will make it or break it. Hopefully we make it. But yeah. I mean, if anybody out there wants to connect and is doing what we do, if you buy properties, you renovate them and you keep them, this is the hard part. This is the part that people don't do, is they don't keep the properties. A lot of people, rental properties, don't do what we do, where it's a full renovation, rebuilding this beautiful home. That's typically something that a flipper would do. And they don't, and a lot of times flippers aren't doing it to the extent that we do it because there's no need to. You don't get extra money for what we're doing, but because we keep these properties for the long run, we want a brand new property that's not going to have problems and going to be 30 years before we have to start replacing things.
Yeah.
But yeah, if anybody's out there buying properties, renovating them, keeping them, and then using those to get into the next property and just keep repeating the process, it's tough.
Please reach out to us. Yeah. Seriously. We really would love to connect with you because it would make us feel a little less alone on this island.
Yeah. Maybe we are the only ones. I don't know. The only ones dumb enough to do this. We'll see.
I start to think sometimes maybe we are really dumb. I don't know.
Well, putting us, like what we're putting ourselves through is a tough decision to be willing to go through that. But I really...
Okay, so here's a question for you.
Yeah.
And maybe we can't answer this yet because we're not on the other side of this yet. But knowing... Because you say willingly. I don't think we thought it was going to get this bad.
No, but we knew it was going to be tough, and just holding on to properties, and we know when you buy a property and you renovate it, there's things you got, like, it's a tough process regardless. So we knew going into it it's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
And it was going to be a lot of time, and I was going to be doing a lot of work on the property itself.
True.
But we didn't know we were going to lose our income at the same time. So that made it really tough. And
okay, so that's a question we need to put for future and look back on and say, was this worth it?
So I think next time, economy goes up and down and it's just the way it is. And I think things were going so well that we didn't really, when things are going well in the economy, you never think that it's going to get bad again, which it just turned really fast for us. So and things took a lot longer for us to get through the project than we expected. We thought this would have been rented 6 months ago and we would have not been dealing with it anymore. Yeah. So, there was some major setbacks that we had to deal with, and so that extended it and made it worse.
Yeah.
But I truly believe that what we're doing is going to pay off. You look at some of these houses. I mean, these houses are we're talking houses that are $1.5 to $2 million value now, current values. If you look at some of the last couple of years as high appreciation years, these properties went up like $200,000-$300,000 in 1 year.
Yeah.
If that happens again, not to say that it will, we're not relying, like it doesn't have to happen, but if it does happen and we're holding 3 properties now instead of 1, that's going to, I mean, if you think about it, if there's 3 properties that go up $300,000, it's almost $1 million.
Yeah.
For not doing anything. There's like there's just $1 million.
Well,
like,
I can't say not for doing anything. 'Cause
well,
we
right.
put the time
We
and
put the time.
everything in
That's what I'm saying.
now.
We're putting the time in now
Yeah.
to be able to capitalize on that later. But if that happens and we have some high appreciation years and there is, a 10 or 15% appreciation year, a 15% appreciation is going to net us almost $1 million in equity in 1 year.
Yeah.
Just on top of everything else. Like that's when we can look and be like, this was all worth it.
Yeah.
And then you can pull out on that, then we access that equity through some sort of loan product like we normally do and or refinance or whatever. And then, you've got, it all starts to come together and make sense. So
Yeah.
that's the game plan. That's
continuing to push through and believing that that something like that will happen and
yeah. And I mean,
that it'll all be worth it.
And it could go backwards. The market could
Yeah.
pull back. I just because of the area that we're in. Now, I wouldn't do this in other areas. Like there's other areas that we invest in that are not appreciating markets.
Yeah.
They're not high appreciation markets, and you don't buy for appreciation. We buy for cash flow, or buy a commercial building and buy on cap rates and figure out other ways to push the value. But it's not something that works in all markets. But if you're in a high appreciating market where there's just a lot of demand, not a lot of supply, even in a down economy, like even in the last couple of years, prices are still going up. Even though there's not much movement in the market, prices are still going up because of low inventory. There's still demand. And where we live, there is a lot of money here. So interest rates aren't as big of a factor. Yeah, there's a lot of demand that's been sidelined because of interest rates, but there's also still cash buyers and demand in the market that's still, activity because of the money in the area where they're not as affected by the interest rates. We're still seeing record sales through this down market.
Yeah.
Things getting bid up, which is it's crazy, but that's just the you live close to the beach in California, and that's just how it is.
Yeah.
But this doesn't work everywhere. Although there's other plays in other parts of the country. If we were in another market that wasn't as expensive, we'd probably have, instead of 3 properties, we'd probably have 10 times that. We'd probably have 30 properties, doing what we do. We wouldn't put as much money into them because they're not appreciation plays, but they would be higher cash flowing properties. And we would probably, we've got 30 properties, but like local properties that we were living in one and then in the neighborhoods that were surrounding us, we would probably have 10 times what we have now. Maybe the same value, portfolio value, but it would just, be 10 times the property count.
Yeah. So we'll have to come back to that at a later date and re-ask ourselves that question of,
was it worth it?
Well, I think it's not even was it worth it. It was like, if you knew how bad it was going to be, would you still do it again? Is kind of my question. But we don't know that. I hope the answer is going to be yes. I hope that we can look back and say, yeah, that was so hard. And that's where I think, in a way, being a little delusional and naive is probably good. Like you almost, that's why you're not meant to know everything.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
Okay.
Let's say 2026 and 2027, market just rebounds. There's policies in place that whatever, and they're really good economic years.
Yeah.
And things just really turn around for everybody. Business is good. Everyone starts buying houses again. All of a sudden, maybe the rates come down a little bit and market demand trends up and pushes prices up. So we get this, a couple of years of 10, 15% of appreciation. And we, let's say there's a 2-year period and we make $1.5 million in equity in these properties that we're holding just in this area. After that happens, and there's another opportunity like this, would we do it again? Or would we go into it knowing what could happen and what situation we could be in and become broke millionaires again? Do we do that, or do we just pass on and be like, no, we don't want to go through that again?
I
know my answer, but I'm curious.
I'm sure you would say yes. I don't know, because I feel like there is a point where it's it's starting to affect the kids. I think that would be my first question, is how would it affect the kids in our family life? Because I think they're still young enough now that we're getting by with them not having any idea. And I think our older one's starting to pick up on things a little bit, but I think at that point when our kids are older, I don't know.
I think we would have contingency plans in place and have more. I mean, we had a lot of reserves.
We had a lot of reserves, and that's what I think
2 years
is
ago,
hard.
we had about $500,000 in cash, like between the 401k, our bank accounts, and more than that, with the HELOC availability, we had over $500,000 of available cash, and it's all gone.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not. I shouldn't say it's gone, but it's been converted into assets. So we bought, an apartment complex. We bought this current project and put a lot of money into that. So it's not the equity hasn't gone anywhere. The equity has gone up, but it's just not cash. It's been converted into a non-liquid asset.
Yeah.
But I think we would have to have more contingency, or maybe like have rental properties set up to where our living expenses are covered. So because we didn't have that before, we didn't have that at all. We had one rental property, and it wasn't enough to live on, but I think we'd have to have enough rental property income to be able to carry us through in case our day job income disappeared.
I think that's a very good point, because I think a lot of times your main source of income isn't also affected in this. And so that's where you said everything it was the perfect storm. I would want to ensure as much as possible that our day-to-day life, and I'm fine making certain sacrifices, right? Like giving up vacations, giving up like some things, but
getting frugal in certain areas, but to the point where we're at,
again, I don't know if I could do this again.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but like I think we would have other contingency plans in place and make sure that no matter what, even if we did lose the other income, because that's going to come and go with a business like that, that's tied to the economy. I think we just have to make sure that we would know that our living expenses are not going to be an issue.
Yes.
And realistically, I really would want my goal is to be, I'm going to put this on there so it's in writing or in audio.
Do I know what you're going to say right
No,
now?
we've talked about it. Like I really want to be in a position at age 45 to be able to retire. Not that I'm actually going to retire, but I want to have the option to retire.
It's coming up pretty quick here, babe.
Yeah. Well, that puts me at 10 years with the business.
I love that too.
That's I don't really want to be
having to work.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean I'm gonna sell the business or walk away from the business, but I want to have people in place that I'm not, maybe I still manage the clients and do the stuff that I enjoy, but running all the operations and everything, I want to be done with that by then.
Yeah.
Just focus on the podcast. If this is still, if this is something that we're still doing, and hopefully we are, I want to be able to focus on the podcasting and, networking with that. And then obviously the real estate. I enjoy the real estate. I enjoy being a handyman. I enjoy, I love the thrill of getting a booking or a lease, getting a lease signed or getting a booking confirmed. Like I'm a salesperson.
I was just going to say you're a true salesperson.
The thrill, like the adrenaline rush that I get, it's like a drug. It's like a addiction. You get a little taste and you want more and you want more, but it's fun for me.
Yeah.
And I guess with the other business, it's the same, but it's not the same selling. It's not the same type of selling because it's relationship selling, and I did like that for a while because you build the relationships and then the orders come in, but it's not like the excitement of each order isn't there. You're not closing the deal. Yeah, there's still like big projects that you close and you get excited about, but it's few and far between.
Yeah,
it's not like a new customer. I don't know. It's just not the same.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
I sold cars, and so like the adrenaline of closing a car, like it's a one-on-one transaction, and you're done, and you go to the next one. And I guess it's just that little bit of dopamine you get from that. I don't know. There's definitely something to that though, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean that kind of takes us into like I feel like all the side hustles we do, like those would kind of become your main.
Yeah,
things that we're focusing
I
on.
really want the side hustles to not be side hustles,
Yeah.
and the main business now, my day job, to become the side hustle.
Yeah.
So I want to, and we have had several side hustles, and some of them haven't made it. Did the couches and that didn't work. We did the clothing company and that didn't work. And there's been a few other things that didn't work out. But currently we're still doing the real estate. So we do long-term rental properties. We got out-of-state properties in those. Even though they're out of state, they still take time. We're always buying and selling too. So we're always buying properties, and so looking for deals and paying attention, and just paying attention to those markets that we're invested in. So that takes time, but I enjoy doing that stuff. And then the local market, we've got rental properties that are both long-term and the midterm, and really the furnished rentals is really where we've been putting a lot of our focus lately. And it's more fun because I get that confirmed booking hit of dopamine every few months for each property. Even like the small studio units that aren't even that much money.
I know, it is really nice to see that in your
You get like a 30-day booking, for a little studio, and it's still like, yeah, we got it booked. Like, we've got solid bookings. No, like, and those ones are cool because we have we literally turn them over same day.
Yeah.
Someone will check out in the morning. We got the cleaners there, and someone will check in the afternoon. And there's so much demand for that people will take it as soon as it opens up and is available. So
see, those ones don't give me as much of a feeling. It's more the main house on that one because
it's a bigger dollar amount. So I get that, but
yeah, but it's also a harder one to fill. And I feel like with that one, we're always getting really close to not having it filled and having a gap. And then all of a sudden it comes in and it's like, okay, we got it. We still got it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of nice.
So I don't know. It's just, it's fun. And I don't mind working on houses when it's not the only thing I do. Like right now, every weekend, this current project is it's been every weekend for a year and a half. And now we got our sons in T-ball. So now that takes up half the Saturdays. Now, instead of having 2 full days, I have, a day and a half. And so now it's getting harder. And so we're just trying to get this done.
And now they want to help you, and now they want to be involved.
They want to go and help, and they want to go all the properties. Oh, I want to go to this. I want to go to that. I'm like, no, just stay here. I'm just going to run over there and do that. I just got to go do this real quick. It's fine. But I think,
which I will say, I think is good because it's allowing you to spend time with them.
Yeah.
But it's slowing you down also.
But it's just, I wouldn't mind doing this stuff if I was able to do it during the week.
Yeah.
If I didn't have if I didn't have my day job and I could just do that during the week, 9 to 5, get that stuff out of the way, and then have the weekends to ourselves. Like, I don't mind doing that type of work. I wouldn't want to be a handyman as a job doing other people's properties, but doing our own properties, I don't mind it.
Like, what did I say to you last week? I was like, I am so curious when this will happen, but can't wait for a weekend where we just wake up and we're like, wow, what do we want to do this weekend?
Yeah.
Where it's not just.
Have we ever had that?
I mean, yeah, before we bought the first house, before we had.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, oh my gosh, we would. Remember our Sundays? We'd go to church and then go to brunch after.
But before I met you, I was doing the same.
So we had a small window of it. We had a small window after you were done with the couches.
We had a small window when we weren't living. We were renting the house when I first moved in with you and started renting the house that I had bought. I wasn't working on a house because I had no house to work on at that point.
And then our townhouse too, where we had Braxton.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So we had a window there.
Right. But I'm saying there was a window of a couple of years because we kept trying to buy a house and we couldn't.
We would have Sunday fun days. Oh,
yeah.
Wow, I do miss a good Sunday fun day.
Yeah, we had nothing to do on weekends. I was bored a lot of times.
I know, actually.
You were working more. You were working more than because you were working on the weekends a lot.
Still. Yeah.
So you would be doing events and stuff on the weekends. Yeah. So I was bored. I would go mountain bike. So I'd go mountain bike with my buddies, or I'd go out and we had a trail behind our place.
You would mountain bike a lot, actually.
So I was mountain biking quite a bit at that point in time.
So I would say from the time I left that job till the time we bought the other house was it was still a 2-year window, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was probably a 2-year window where we would. Remember how much we would I remember.
Oh, because you were off on weekends.
Yeah, because then I would be off on weekends. Right. But I remember going to church going to brunch, coming home, taking a nap, and then spending the rest of the day watching Sunday football.
Or
Like-
we'd go lay at the pool
Oh
in the
my gosh, we
summertime.
would just lay at the pool, take our drinks up there, take our dinner to
Yeah.
barbecue, go in the hot tub. Oh, wow.
And we would talk. We would go in the hot tub and we would talk about
all of this.
business ideas and buying houses
and our kids.
all these things we're going to
our-
do. And now we're like living it. And we're like, could we just go back to like having no responsibility and just chilling in the hot tub?
I wouldn't go back, but
No, but it does.
what did I say tonight? I just want a vacation so bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, just those little things that I guess just part
So-
of life, right?
so
like you always
yeah.
have to say.
So, I mean, back to side hustles, like the side hustle definitely like has helped us get through what we're getting through, because if we didn't have our side hustle income, you know, we've also started co-hosting. So we now co-host these furnished rental properties, and we're just now starting to do that. So we're just onboarding. We've got several properties that we're onboarding right now. And we got several more that we're talking to, and people that are, you know, these take a few months to get set up. A lot of people live in them now, and they're moving or thinking about doing this. So, or they're finishing up renovations, and so they take a few months to get set up. But
I'm excited about this one.
Yeah.
This is kind of different and
yeah,
kind of came out of nowhere. So
and really, like, we get a lot. We've done a really good job of networking with these placement providers and all, you know, different people that do corporate housing and place people looking for furnished rentals. And we have way more requests than we're able. Like, we have people calling us now, like, "Hey, do you guys have anything in Costa Mesa or surrounding area?" And we're always full. Most of our properties are booked 4 to 6 months in advance, so we don't have availability most of the time. So for us to be able to now offer properties that we are able to rent and make money on, but we don't own the properties, and these are not arbitrage. We're not renting a house and then turning around and renting it. So there's no expense to us on the actual property. These are just other owners that want to rent their properties and need help or don't have the time to do it or haven't done this before. And so we'll do a 1-year agreement with them where we'll co-host with them and, you know, show them how we operate and how to fill the property. And then after the year, if they still, you know, if they don't have time, they still want somebody to manage it, we'll continue to do that. Or, you know, if they are good on their own at that point, then they can take over and do it themselves. But for us, it'll be additional offerings in our portfolio without having to buy a house each time. So
yeah, that'll be interesting to see what comes from that. And I'm excited to kind of keep growing that portfolio a little bit too. I think that'll be.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to like have on our booking site, have all these properties now. It's growing and having more offerings. So when people do reach out, "Hey, do you have anything?" Like, as a matter of fact, here's what we have.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
What else?
I don't know.
Else?
Yeah, that's a lot.
That is a lot.
A lot of sacrifices. Yeah, I mean, you know, sacrifice is something that you choose to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we have chosen this path, and you know, we didn't choose to get to where we are now in terms of like being cash broke, but that's just part of the decision that we made that ended up getting us where we are. So, you know, between the finance and the time and you know, the family, it's a lot harder with a family.
Our advice would be, if you're going to do this, do it before you have kids.
Yeah. We started.
Do
once
it
we
when you're
started having
married,
kids.
but do it before as much as you can before you have kids. That would be my one word of advice. I saw something today on an Instagram account that I love that said, "God didn't say it would be easy, but he did say he'd be with you." And I feel like I'm going to bookmark that.
Yeah.
And just save that for these days that get a little tough when we're
It's definitely
really
not
going
easy.
through it.
Yeah, it's for sure.
Yeah. Uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you
I
have?
think that's it for me. We're good?
We're good.
All right. Get out there, guys, and make it happen.
Thanks for listening. This has been a production of Rebuilding the Dream Studios.